When people are face to face, they have difficulty telling a lie because they might have a tell. Texting behaviors and lying, is there a tell there? If you're not familiar with what a tell is, it's when something about your body exposes the fact that you're lying. It's much easier to spot when you're face to face with a person. If you're in a relationship with someone or are dating someone, here's some relationship advice. Try to analyze their texting behavior if you suspect they are lying. For this reason, people feel more comfortable and confident about lying when it's through an SMS text message. Number 11, delay, delay, delay. Here are some tips for women and men in a relationship. Liars like to delay. This behavior can be difficult to spot because there's no telling what is happening on the other side of this conversation. It's best to give the person the benefit of the doubt unless the response is not a smart one. If it takes someone 40 minutes to respond and their excuse is "I'm watching television," there's a chance they are lying. If you notice that someone is constantly avoiding you when you confront them, or just don't address the suspicions at all, there may be a chance that they are lying to you. If this is the case, here's some relationship advice as well as love advice. It is always best to confront them in person to see how they will react. This way, it is harder for them to lie. If you're dating someone like this, keep an eye out for other warning signs. Number 10, cat and mouse. The one thing a liar prays for is that the other person forgets about the problem that was ensuing. For example, if you borrow something and you've lost it, you might feel guilty and not tell the person. Just like someone who doesn't want to face a situation will try to delay it. They will also play a cat and mouse game and try to act like they don't know what you're talking about, or just hide from the situation altogether. Number 9, pointing the blame. This is another texting behavior and lying trait that is extremely common. When someone is asked a question and they know it's their fault, they will make the person feel guilty about asking. Playing with their emotions is how they try to escape, and they hope that the person judges themselves because of it. This is a way that master manipulators take the blame off of themselves. Regardless of the situation, they will do whatever they can to make themselves look better and shift the blame off of themselves, even if it means making someone else look bad. They will stoop to new lows to shift the blame off of themselves. If you notice that a person is playing with your emotions and trying to shift the blame on you, they are most likely trying to manipulate you and are also probably lying. This is one of the major tips for women and men that they simply shouldn't ignore. Number 8, the long sentence text. When I was in college and I would have to write a long essay about a topic I knew nothing about, I would write as much as I could and try to hide the fact that I was lying about everything I wrote. The same goes with texting behaviors and lying. A study conducted by Cornell University proved that liars will often have longer text messages. If you're dating someone and you've confronted them via SMS text message and find they are typing suspiciously long sentences explaining something and it just doesn't seem to add up, try looking out for other warning signs. Keep watching as we continue to count down tips for women and men that show a person might be lying through a text message. Number 7, stuck on repeat. Usually, when someone gets in trouble or is exposed for an act that they committed, they will repeat their answers in many different ways. Take cheating, for example. If someone asks you if you cheated on them, your lying response would be, "They're just a friend. Nothing happened. We've just been friends for a while." This is one of the best examples of texting behaviors and lying. Number 6, they don't answer the question. A hidden text behavior and lying trait, especially when dating, is when the person tries to conceal a question. They do this by asking a follow-up question that has nothing to do with the conversation. They do this hoping that the person does not notice and forgets what the original conversation was about. Number 5, excuses. Here's some love advice. Excuses are major red flags that should always be looked out for. The oldest trick in the book to avoiding texting someone is to pretend like you're busy. The most common excuses are stomachache, I'm tired, or I have a headache. The reason they do this is they need time to think of their lie. It's the easiest texting behavior and lying trait to spot. Some will come up with even the most ridiculous excuses to cover up their lie or lies, even if it makes them look very foolish. If you notice that someone you regularly talk to over SMS text messages is always coming up with excuses for things, even if they are small things, then it means they are probably lying. Keep an eye out for this sort of behavior and see if the excuses start to become more outlandish and ridiculous as time goes on. If this happens, don't be afraid to call them out on it. Liars need to be put in their place, and they need to know that lying is never the right thing to do. Number 4. Awkward wording. Another texting behavior and lying example is when the person uses positive words along with insecure words to answer a question. The reason they do this is that they don't want to let down or hurt the feelings of the other person. According to recent research, the most common words used by women that were lying were probably try and I. If someone is not being themselves when they are texting you, or is using very awkward wording, or is stumbling on their words and can't seem to answer the question, they may be lying to you. When people lie, they begin to get nervous, so keep an eye out for this, especially through SMS. Although it is much easier to lie through text, keep an eye on their wording and try to see through the words they are saying. Try to notice any differences in the way they usually text. Number 3. Guilty conscience. When people lie, they often don't want to look like the bad guy, so they try to twist the outcome into their favor to make the other person feel bad. This is easy to spot because they will flip out after being asked a simple question. If someone freaks out after something as harmless as a simple question, it should raise a red flag. There is really no reason for someone to feel guilty about something unless they're actually guilty of it. Number 2. Testing a reaction. Before someone decides to lie, they might want to test the person's reaction to the response first. If they get the response they're looking for, they will tell the truth. If they don't get the response they're looking for, they will likely lie. Now that you know the top tips for women and men that someone is lying through text messages, here is the reason why it might be taking a suspiciously long time to respond to text messages. Number 1. Typing for a long time. If the person's text messages are usually short and sweet, you might find it suspicious if they are taking a long time to type their messages, especially if you've confronted them about something. They might be deleting or correcting their message, so it sounds more appealing and convincing. Now you know the top texting behaviors and lying traits, but one thing to keep in mind is to never jump the gun. Although some relationship experts may tell you that certain text behaviors may be red flags, try not to jump to conclusions right away. There could always be a perfectly reasonable explanation to why someone may be acting different. But if you do think someone is lying to you through SMS text message, it's best to confront them face to face, because the likelihood of them lying in this situation will be reduced. What are some signs that you look for that someone is lying through text messages? What is some relationship advice you would give to someone who was suspicious of their partner? Let us know in the comment section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to What the Facts. Wait, why don't you fact off with these other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or the right video and enjoy.